All right, Falcons fans, another week of the NFL season in the books, and lucky you are listening to FinnCast, brought to you by Scan Energy, the natural gas provider of your Atlanta Falcons. And today we have a finless FinnCast. To my left is Johnny the Hair Michaels. Behind the glasses are producer Andrew Groover, and I'm Tyler Nelson. John, welcome to FinnCast. And I don't know if we all know this, but when John started here, when I met John, he didn't have hair.
No.
And now you have a head of hair that's rivaling mine.
Yeah.
So look great, man.
And I cut it, so it could be long, but I can only take so much.
Well, I believe the plan was you were going to get like cornrows.
I was supposed to, and then I realized, one, I'm 50 years old, and I probably don't need cornrows, and two, that's a lot of patience. I made it about 6 months without cutting it at all, other than kind of trimming the sides, and I couldn't take it any longer.
Because it's got to get long for you to go do that, right?
Yeah, I probably need, not quite shoulder length, but you need some length to it.
Right. Well, I've never done that to my hair, so I wouldn't know. What about you, Groover? Ever done cornrows?
I have, actually. It is very painful. I got him in, and I took him out probably 20 minutes later.
Well, that was not the answer I was expecting. But all right, let's talk about the Falcons' dominant win over the Washington Commanders this past week. Man, I mean, in terms of bounce back, we could not have had a more miserable game before that against the Panthers. And then just like our second win, we came back after a bad loss and really put our foot in the throat of the Commanders. And I mean, in all facets of the game where we sucked the week before, in all facets of the game, more or less, we look good. What are some of your thoughts, John?
Yeah, the first thing is offensively, you look like the team we thought we were going to get. Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier running the ball, hammers. Michael Penix looked like a first-round pick. He had his best day of his Falcons career, so that was really good. Zach Robinson coming down on the field. Look, I don't know how much that actually changed, but what I saw, more than anything, procedurally, they look like a fluid football team. I'm sure you and Finn talked about on FinnCast. The amount of times in the first 3 weeks you look up and there's 4 on the play clock, and they're still trying to motion a guy. And Michael
give me a fucking heart attack every single time that they're trying to snap the ball, because I don't know if they
can cuss on this.
We can cuss on this. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, say whatever the hell
it's
you
the
want.
internet, man.
Yeah, so having that, procedurally, they look terrible. This week, all of a sudden, they look like a football team. You got 15 on the clock. Michael Penix is doing the dummy snaps, and he's getting the defense to show their hand, and then they would make a check, and guys were running scot-free. And if that means Zach Robinson on the field for the rest of his life, tie him up. I said tape him to the goalpost and don't let him leave.
Well, that was the thing I was going to ask you, is how much do you think that actually changed anything? Because Bijan Robinson said, he was like, I love having him down on the field. I actually get to see him. And it's like, if that was such an overt change for them, if that was such a clear difference in how it affected the players, why the hell did it take them so long?
Yeah, I don't know. Raheem Morris talked about, that's how we do it at practice. We have him down on the field. But he wanted to be in, and a lot of times it's the offensive coordinator's preference.
Sure, I think a lot of the guys very much wanting to get to be over and seeing everything. I get that, but if the outcome was that visceral for your players, what? I don't know. That's what frustrates me.
Well, and I think part of that has to do, Tyler, with once you see that it happened, it's never going to change. Like, he's on the field forever. And what I also liked about it, I saw actual coaching on the sideline. We went crazy on the locker room when Michael Penix against Carolina throws a pick six, and he's sitting on the bench by himself. Do-rag on, just kind of looking lost in space, and not a soul walks over to him. Zach Robinson, in between plays, is now going over there and being a coach.
Well, and that's part of the systemic dysfunction. That's a term I use often, I feel like, too often about this team. But some of the systemic dysfunction is that right there, that there is no... I don't want to say no leadership, but that's kind of what it feels like. So you're right. There is not just the being able to, however Bijan put it, I get to see his eyes. It's not just that. It's actual coaching. There's hands on the kid after good play, bad play, whatever, right?
And the other part procedurally that they talked about, they said they use the wrist guard more. I remember in week 1, we were on the locker room, and I told Finn and home team, I said, why don't we use the wrist guard? And, I guess maybe neither one of them, maybe it was Finn, one of them said, they don't have that many plays on the wrist guard. I said, what are you talking about? They've got hundreds of plays on that wrist guard, and they're numbered, and it has the play call right in behind there. If I'm a play caller, and this is just me, my play sheet should mirror the wrist guard, and it should say, all right, I want to run 71.
Explain that for the uninitiated.
So the wrist guard, and if you're looking, they have a wrist guard that's about the size of my forearm, about the size of this tattoo. And it's got Velcro, and it opens up, and there can be a play sheet on the top, on the inside. You could have like 3 different cards in there. And each one of them is going to be numbered with the play call in behind there. And I think back, and this is me being stupid, using our flag football used to use wrist guard. guards where we would just call plays at the line of scrimmage. We'd walk up and be like 12, and we'd all look at 12 and go, okay, we know what we're going to run. My thought was if procedurally they were having problems, and the play calls now in the NFL they're like a paragraph half the time.
Right.
My thought is if Zach Robinson was having to communicate and Michael Penix was down there with his hands over his ears trying to hear, and now he's got to reverberate all of that play call into the huddle, that may have been why it was taking so long. The word on the street is they used wrist guard more, where it may have been, hey, run 72. And now you look at 72 and go, all right, 72 is going to be, shotgun Z right, 42 over on 3.
Yeah, you just got 30 seconds out of the process.
And when you only have a 25-second play clock, if you cut 5 to 7 seconds off,
it's huge.
Those are 5 to 7 seconds you could be at the line of scrimmage looking at stuff. And that's what they did this
I know
weekend.
why you didn't wear it.
Why is that?
Because it looks lame.
Well, but
when you play NCAA, and I know you play it like me, that's one of the first things I take off if I'm editing a player.
See,
that in the
so nerdy.
the hand warmer thing.
The hand, I don't look at
that.
That
Is nerdy. All right, yeah.
The only thing I want is the face guard where it's the blackout visor. But he was wearing the wrist guard.
Tomlinson?
He was wearing the wrist guard anyway. It's not like he just put it on. Now, the one I don't like, if you ever watch Tua Tagovailoa, his thing is flopping around.
I hate that. Oh, man, I hate
like
that.
Like a bad haircut.
Yeah.
Now, that one sucks.
Okay, so another thing, it wasn't just that he was on the field and you could see the reaction and how that was changing and affecting the players, but the play calling looked different. There was more deep balls, and what Finn said last week was it's not just that you can potentially get a catch and you get 30, 40, 50 yards, it's that you can get a more time to get a holding or
pass
interference or anything like that. So, in which we got both. We didn't get a pass. We did get a pass interference, but we got a deep ball catch too.
Right.
There was more deep ball, and then there was more play action. Anybody want to tell me what was happened on that Kyle Pitts touchdown? Play action, right? And he was wide open. He could have sat there and had a picnic when he caught that ball, right?
If you watch the best teams in the NFL, you watch Philadelphia or Kansas City or Baltimore when they're playing well, play action becomes huge. I think back to Peyton Manning or even Matt Ryan to bring it here full circle in Atlanta. Neither one of those guys were fast.
No.
Peyton Manning couldn't outrun this microphone. Now, Matt had mobility, but he wasn't outrunning a lot of people. Apologies, Matt.
I think he would admit that.
When they ran play action and Peyton Manning would stick the ball in the belly of Edgerrin James and pull it back out there with his back to the defense has to react. The Falcons have arguably the best running back in the NFL in Bijan Robinson and a second-string running back that could start for probably 20 of the 32 teams in the league. If you stick the ball in their belly and pull it back out of there, guess what? Linebackers, even if they don't come running up, they take a false step. And now you got Kyle Pitts running in behind
and that's exactly what happened. I think it was Bijan, or it might have been Tyler Algier, but what happened was he stuck it in his belly, and you could see the defense freeze/shift left, and Kyle Pitts rolled right and was wide open in the end zone.
It happens.
And part of the predictability that we were talking about last week, it's not just that they know exactly what hole, what gap, what person's going to get the ball. It's that they go, oh, he's in pistol again. We know exactly what's going to happen. We know this is going to be a run. We know there's going to be a pass. Whatever, because we were predictable with our formation.
And I thought even this week they still were in pistol a lot. Yeah. The difference was you had success because you were running play action. They were running out of the shotgun because in previous games, when they were in the shotgun, it was throw.
Right.
And now they were just doing, we'll run the inside zone or the outside zone with Bijan Robinson. There were a couple times they were under center, which was amazing to see. And they got everybody involved. I like the balance. I think it was Bijan had 18 carries. Tyler Algier had 16. Bijan had like another 4 or 5 catches out of the backfield for over 100 yards. If they get that balance with those guys, and you let Drake London be the one, and Kyle Pitts catch 5 or 6 passes, you've got an explosive offense.
Yeah. So to that, let's talk about some team leaders spotlight here that Groover did a good job putting on the show sheet.
What's a show sheet? Mike Domino over there.
Michael Penix Jr. for the season, 918 yards. Bijan Robinson, 314, also named NFC Offensive Player of the Month. Receiving, Bijan Robinson, 270. Jesse Bates with 24 tackles. And Xavier Watts, who has been a delight and a revelation, named NFL Defensive Rookie of the Month. 2 takeaways so far. Thoughts on just reaction?
So the thing that stands out to be Michael Penix needs to pick it up because that's only about 210 yards a game. somewhere, give or take, if my math is pretty close.
Yeah, and I think he's 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Yeah, you've got to pick that up. We did over-unders on what we thought Michael Penix would be, and I was like 3,500 yards and about 25 touchdowns would be a great first year. He's not on pace for that right now. But his best offensive performance was this past week, and the schedule gets lighter after Buffalo and San Francisco. You get into the Dolphins. You get into the Saints a couple of times. You get another game against Carolina, which I guarantee they're going to have some get back for. That's the first takeaway. The second takeaway, you could argue now Bijan is the best back in the league. And even Saquon Barkley's come out and said, like, when I leave, this kid's special.
Yeah.
And he had one
He has
run.
league-wide recognition now.
Oh, my goodness. The run that he had for a touchdown, he jump cuts from the left to the right, gets hit, bounces off a guy, and just runs away from people. You can't teach that.
No. Yeah, he's tough. He has everything. He's a human joystick,
Yes.
right? It's
Right analog, left analog.
I would like to see a receiver leading in receptions or yards.
But again, I think that a lot of these stats are going to be thrown off because of how bad the Carolina game was as we go
Drake
on.
London's been banged up, and
Right, and Drake had a great game last week. So if we see more of that, then that'll bump up. But to that, we are 7th in total offense, 7th in rush, 19th in passing yards.
Okay.
So those are bets better than mediocre.
Oh, that's top third of the league.
Right, exactly.
And that's with a 0-point game involved.
Exactly. So do you think that that's more of where we are? Do you think we could be better? Or do you think we come back down to earth a little bit more?
That's about where I thought we'd be at the beginning of the year. And, part of that, we knew the Ravens would be good on offense. You figured the Bills. We thought Cincinnati, but now Joe Burrow's hurt. If they're top 7.
He's out for the year.
Yeah. If they're top 7 in the league in the offensive category, they should make the playoffs.
Yeah. Okay, now to that. We'll talk about the division. Very winnable. I mean, the god-awful Saints, which just warms my heart so much to be able to say, are 0-4. The Panthers 1-3. Of course, that one win coming over us. We're at 2-2, and the Buccaneers at 3-1. They lost this past week to.
They did. They lost to Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. That's right. So at only one game behind, but we're obviously 2 games down in the division. It's still very winnable.
Sure.
So coming up, like you said, we've got Buffalo. We've got Buffalo on Monday night, which is a tough game there because they're 4-0. And, I mean, they've been perennial, should make the Super Bowls for the past 5 years or so, right? And Josh Allen and maybe the most likable guy in the NFL. That's going to be a tough game. At least we're home, and at least we've got some bright lights that I think this team responds well to. Yeah,
because you could go back to last year. On the road, Monday Night Football against Philadelphia, you win. The game Sunday night here against Kansas City, you were in it till right at the end.
Right.
They've played well in spotlight games. And let's be real, the Commanders were a hell of a lot better team than the Panthers were.
Yes.
But you had backs against the wall and everything else. So, yeah, the Buffalo game should be fun. By the way, our Dirty Bird tailgate, shameless plug. Make sure you come by. Try some of that El Bandito Yankee tequila. Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah, it is, and that it is definitely a good shameless plug. I'll be there. Those tailgates, those events are like nothing else.
I'm debating going to the game. Problem is, we have to wake up so early. Home team is like, I got a ticket if you want to go, and I really want to go. But I have a feeling I'm not going to stay to the end of the fourth quarter.
Just go to the tailgate, get some.
And then I'm going to be a hypocrite because I told Georgia fans you can't get up and leave before the end of the game.
Oh, is that your position, really?
100%.
Oh, even for the stinker games like Austin Peay.
Yes.
Oh,
what about concerts?
Do you understand? I flew, and I'm a maniac. I flew down to Florida.
That's true.
And watched Miami play Bethune-Cookman. We won 70-0. And I was probably one of the last 50 people. I was till the end of the game, till the final whistle.
I mean, power to you if that's you. I don't think it's a necessity as a fan.
Look, for a college game, I do. For the NFL, the problem is getting out of there on a Monday night. It's going to be 11:30. It's going to be an hour and a half to get back to Gwinnett County.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
What about Ice Cube when we go see Ice Cube together?
Well, Ice Cube, I'm staying till the end.
Until the end?
Yeah, and I'm bringing my 16-year-old.
Well, what do you feel? So, like, at halfway through the fourth quarter of the Panthers game, I turned it off because, like, I was so rage-filled and disappointed.
You
and
made
all those
it
things.
a quarter longer than I did.
Okay, so how do you draw the line there between being at the game and on TV?
So that weekend, I had traveled out of town. I took a 7 a.m. flight home from Miami after being at a football game till midnight the night before. So I got about 3 hours sleep, and the Falcons were putting me to sleep. So mid-third quarter when it's 24-0, I said, there's no reason to watch this anymore.
I understand. I agree with you. I'm just saying, like, how do
That's TV. If you're at the game, stay at the game.
I don't know. I got some cognitive dissonance going on with that, but all right. So
at home, I could just flip the channel. All I did was I went to sleep.
And by the way, so if you're used to listening to this on podcast format, it's now on YouTube, and you can go watch this whole thing on Us in Studio in YouTube. And if you've never seen Mr. John Michael's visage here, you have how many Miami tattoos? 3, 4?
No, my 1, 2, 3, 4.
You have the Orange Bowl. You have the Ibis.
6. I think I have 6 because I have 2 on my leg. I have Sean Taylor here. I've got the Orange Bowl here, the Ibis, my national championships. I got a U on my leg as well, so it's probably 6.
Okay,
I have a Falcons tattoo right here.
That's dedication, and I appreciate
boys.
that. Yeah, well, I'm not as much as John, but I have a Braves tattoo under my arm right here.
I'm terrified of needles. No thanks.
It's not like a needle, like a needle.
It would definitely hurt. You guys are crazy. That's why these guys are getting put to sleep to get tattoos.
Well, they're wimps.
It does not hurt that bad at all.
Depends on the spot.
It does depend on the spot, that's for sure. But arms,
this one on
arms are nothing.
This one on the elbows.
Yeah, I have one on my side. That one sucks.
Also, Tyler, do you look up big words before this podcast?
No, I just read most of my life, and so I have a decent vocabulary.
Nice, okay.
That's how he sells stuff.
My English teacher in high school told me I was a great writer, but I have a limited vocabulary, and it's fucked with me ever since.
What word did I use that was impressive?
Visceral, maybe?
And then you said another one earlier. I don't know. You've at least 2 or 3.
All right. Well, thank you. So let's talk about the games coming up. Obviously, Monday night, the Bills here at the Dome. We are at the 49ers after that. That's going to be a tough game.
Of course. I mean, if you watched the game last night on Thursday Night Football, with a backup quarterback, their best receiver and Ricky Pearsall not being there, 49ers are able to go on the road and take care of the Rams. They're well coached.
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan, who might be public enemy number 1 or 2 here in Atlanta, that son of a gun can coach football. Mac Jones, who was a cast-off from New England and Jacksonville, throws for 300 yards and a couple of touchdowns. That one's going to be hell. And it's a conference game. And I think that's where last week against the Commanders was so important. Falcons were already 0-2 in division, where they were 1-2, or they were 1-2 in conference. And then you needed that win against Washington because you look around the NFC, Eagles are really good. The NFC North, with everybody up there with Detroit and Green Bay playing pretty well. The NFC West suddenly has 3 teams over 500. You have to start stacking up these wins in conference, and it almost makes Buffalo a must-win game. Even though it's an out-of-conference, you can ill afford to be 2-3. We got to hope this week, while we have a bye, that Tampa flying all the way across country to Seattle, that Seattle helps us out a little bit and gets a win.
So, as you said, after that, we've got Dolphins and Patriots, and after that, both of those are very winnable. Dolphins are, not very good, and the Patriots they're 500 too, like us, and they've got Drake May at quarterback, so that's we're at away. I don't know. They'll probably give them a 2-point on that, I guess. It'll probably be a push either way.
I don't know. I don't bet on NFL. It's too scary.
Me neither.
Yeah. Okay. College, I'll do.
If you looked at our picks on the locker room, I shouldn't bet on anything.
So I had to add mine this week to help
there you go.
Out. But now I'm going to lose now that I put them out there.
Yeah, I got nothing to contribute to that. So, one of the things that we wanted to finish with here is, can Atlanta steal 1 to 2 of the next 3 tough games?
Yes.
So, what do we need to do specifically to win with the Bills?
So, Buffalo, if you've watched them this year, they're 4-0. They were down 15 in the fourth quarter with 5 minutes to go against the Ravens and had a miracle comeback.
Yeah.
And then they've beaten, I believe, the Dolphins, the Patriots, and the Saints.
Right.
So it's not like they've beaten murderers.
Yeah, world beaters.
And the Saints game, it's 21-19 with about 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it was a close game because I had the Bills minus 14.5 and they didn't cover. They only won by 11. So I was keeping track. I was like, how the hell are the Saints playing close? Here's the thing with Buffalo. Josh Allen's a machine. And James Cook, you have to stop him. So if you're Jeff Ulbrich, I think the number one thing to try to beat Buffalo, don't let them have a two-way go. We used to always talk about you can't let a team be able to run and throw the football. Take away James Cook and make Josh Allen throw it. Now, it's going to be a tough proposition because that dude can throw all over the place. But they're not elite defensively. They're solid. They're not elite. Yeah. And I think the Falcons can score. You're probably going to have to score close to 30 points to beat them. Mm-hmm. That one, I think, is more winnable than playing in San Francisco, which is crazy because the Bills are a better team.
No, I agree. I think so, too. But that's, if nothing, I mean, just... We're talking back for the past decade plus. When we travel to the West Coast, we don't do well, at least for the first game. If we're out there for a stand, like we go play the 49ers and the Seahawks, which we've done before, then, we play a little bit better. But
I will tell you, I've made that trip when I worked with the team forever. Mm-hmm. As a journalist, it was It was great. We'd go out Friday. We didn't have anything to do. We'd go party, and Saturday would go out and explore a city or whatever. As a player, one, just trying to get your clock set the right way, which is why they normally will travel on a Friday to be out there, because you have one day. And if I'm not mistaken, at least under Dan Quinn, and I think Mike Smith might have been the same way, they kept them on East Coast time. So they would literally say, everything we're doing is East Coast time. Because remember, it may be a 4 o'clock kick to us. It was still a 1 o'clock kick out there. So they tried to keep their clock kind of the same. But it's just a pain in the butt. You're talking about 5 hours on a plane. I know it's a Delta charter, and but it is still travel.
It is still, it's still taxing. Yeah, absolutely, it is. Then what's the next big game we have coming up after that? So we've got Dolphins, Patriots.
The Colts suddenly are good.
One thing we didn't talk about that I put on the sheet was how good this defense has been this year.
Absolutely.
And I think, playing Buffalo will be a really big test.
Right. Actually, going back to that secondary, as you just said, if we can stop James Cook, or at least dedicate a little bit more resources to that, then you're relying on your secondary, which has proven, again, go back to Xavier Watts, has been awesome.
Well, and you're going to most likely get A.J. Terrell back for that.
And that was the next thing I was going to say is, do we get A.J. Terrell back for that?
It sounds like it. They said with his hamstring, him and Darnell Mooney should be back. What's interesting is you have 3 or 4 other guys that are eligible to return off the injured list. Storm Norton, who now what do you do with him at right tackle if he's eligible? Because Elijah Wilkinson's played solid. He hadn't been great, but you don't really hear his name. The other guys, Troy Anderson, I don't know if he ever makes it back into the lineup. And you have like 1 or 2 other guys. What's our guy? Braylon Trice, although they think he may be done for the year. They said, he's eligible to come back, but they're going to see at the end of these 4 weeks what's going on. Defensively, though, they have been really good. Like, if there's a takeaway from the hire from the offseason, Jeff Ulbricht's been a star. Yeah. Young defensive linemen, although they're not getting as many sacks as they did in Minnesota, those dudes are getting after it. Ruke Orhorhoro, Brandon Dorless, Pierce Jr., those guys are, and Jalen Walker as well. They're playing some good football.
Yeah, so Ruke Orhorhoro is 19.6 pressure rate, which is the highest among defensive tackles with at least 40 pass rushes in the NFL.
Okay,
that's something. That's great. And to that point, like I think that even in the Panthers game, until the fourth quarter, they had held the Panthers to 13 points. Right, the defense. It was pick 19. 6. It was a pick 6, right? So it was 20-0 or whatever it was. But only because, the Panthers we had held the Panthers to 13 points.
They only had, I think, 240 yards for the game. We were the first team since 1970 that had outgained a team by over 100 yards and got shut out. I think it was the Dolphins in 1970 under Don Shula.
Go Falcons.
Yeah. We find more ways to be in the record books for the wrong things.
One of the taglines of this podcast that I always say is, we find unique and fun ways to break our hearts. Right? Like, the Falcons are just so good at that.
But they draw you back in. You play as terrible as possible against the Panthers, and then they play really good, and they shut up Marcus Mariota, which was awesome.
Yep.
And they make Dan Quinn lose, which is equally awesome. And I like DQ. DQ was my guy. But
no, of course. Just having the guys who are here and going away, you want to show them that we moved on for some.
We won by a touchdown. Let's not get too excited about it.
Yeah, but the game never felt close.
But they had a chance to win the game at the end. I know they had to recover the onside kick and score with a minute and a half left.
Yeah, but no,
we beat a backup quarterback, no star receiver. I don't know. I'm not getting too excited. If we beat Buffalo, though, you got me hooked.
Well,
again.
and to your point, I picked the Commanders to win.
Because you're from the West Coast.
I'm not from the West Coast.
You lived on the West Coast.
What I said last week was, I picked the Commanders to win if Mariota plays, right?
Right.
And if James Daniels plays. So my point was, this offense has to show me they can show up, right? And they did. Marcus Mariota or James Daniels are not, right? This offense, like what you just said, it might have been closer on the scoreboard than it was in actuality.
Yeah, but I never in that game did I feel the Commanders were going to come back.
Right. Exactly.
It does take a little less sting that we beat their backup.
You weren't nervous on that onside kick at the end?
No, not at all.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
They didn't kick the spinny kick like it happened in Dallas about 4 years ago, where we just
stood around it
like it was a campfire. Hey guys, let's roast the marshmallows. What the hell are we doing?
All right, so last takes. What do you think happens Monday night, John?
It's good. You're gonna have to win a shootout. I'm gonna be a homer. We win the shootout, 31-30.
I'm hopeful it's hard to go against Buffalo.
Parker Romo with a walk-off extra point.
Look out for their 3 tight ends. They got some studs on offense.
I got to watch out for Gregory Rousseau.
Yeah.
Great defensive end from
Miami. Yeah, we know.
All right, I'm with you, and I'm rejuvenated in my faith in this team, specifically in the offense, and I think that you're right, is if we get a little bit of run defense and then our secondary shuts down Josh Daniels making pass, I think we win 30-21.
There we go.
Yep.
Like
right?
the way
We're
thinking.
not the Saints, right? Sucks.
It's very true.
Sucks to be 0-4. It could be a hell of a lot worse.
All right, guys. John Michaels, thank you for joining us on FinnCast today. Finn
thanks for
off
filling in, man.
celebrating his
I'm the
son's
better
graduation.
receiver on this podcast. I'm just talking about between me and you.
Oh, yeah, well, of course. Hey, I was a cornerback, man.
I played tight end.
All right.
Hey, now.
All right, we'll see. I bet you did.
I think Scanna wants us to
This has
end
gone
this
off
now.
the rails. All right, Falcons fans, thanks for tuning in. FinnCast. We'll see you next week. Go Dirty Birds.